strong, powerful vaginas. Hello, I am Steph Koza, and I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite female-centric films, female characters. Just pause. Hold up. Hello friends! Before I jump into this video, I just wanted to let you all know that this video is part of an overall much bigger project put together by my homegirl, Kristen. The link to her channel is in the doobly-doo below, but she put together an awesome video for Women's History Month featuring a ton of female YouTubers all talking about their favorite female inspirations in cinema, and it's awesome. So please check out that video. The link to it is in the doobly-doo below. So click on that, go watch that, then come back here and watch this. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go now. Thanks. Bye. There are so many to choose from, so many women to talk about, but there are a few that have impacted me personally in a big way, so I'm gonna talk about those. One of my biggest inspirations, and one that has inspired me throughout pretty much my entire life, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Specifically, I'm talking about the television series, not so much the movie. I don't know what the fuck is happening. I love Buffy because she is like this strong superhero chosen one, but even though she's chosen and doesn't really have a choice, she still always chooses to do the strong, selfless, sacrificing thing while still being a girl.
You're supposed to be a meek little girly girl like the rest of us.
I think a lot of the times when we have like this strong, powerful female character, they tend to write them more like a man. Ugh. While that can be inspiring and powerful in its own way, I kind of like seeing a feminine female hero who is still just as powerful, if not more powerful, than any other male superhero.
Need a hand?
No thanks. I'm good.
I know when Joss Whedon was creating the character originally, he said, I always feel like there's this blonde cheerleader type in horror movies who always just gets killed in a back alley, and he just wanted this character to be like, what if that girl didn't get killed? What if she kicked its ass instead? And I just love that concept of this tiny, non-threatening, very feminine kind of girly girl, valley girl cheerleader type.
You don't like the color?
Because it shows that girls aren't just girls. They can be strong and awesome and badass and smart, and I just love her so much. And I also love that while her strength partially does lie in the fact that she has superpowers, her strength also lies in the choices that she makes and the way she sacrifices herself for the world and for her friends and for the people she loves. And it sort of amplifies femininity because women generally have this stigma of like, you're a woman, so you're a caregiver, you're a caretaker, you're motherly, and this character takes that to be her advantage rather than shit all over it and be like, I don't have to be those things, because she shows that you can be those things and also be a badass motherfucker. Also, the show in general was one of the first times a lesbian relationship was portrayed on TV, and that is a huge important thing. And also important to note that Buffy is not the only strong female character in the show. There are a ton of them, like Willow, the lesbian witch that we all love so much. It was super progressive for its time. People were kind of upset about it, but it was very exciting for the LGBTQ community because it was just a thing and it just happened, and there wasn't even really any questioning of it. It was like, there's like a scene where Willow comes out to Buffy and she like maybe for 10 seconds is like a little bit uncomfortable, but then she's like, what am I talking about? You're my best friend. Like, that's awesome. Good for you. And then they never address it again, and she's just gay, and it's amazing and wonderful. Not to mention she is probably the most powerful character on the entire show. But I could make a whole video about that. Another character I want to talk about is Eowyn from Lord of the Rings. Eowyn has always been one of my favorite characters of all time across everything. She is just so strong-willed, so blunt and kind of sassy, and she just knows what she wants, and she isn't going to let anyone tell her what she can't do. Because, you know, Eowyn lives in this very traditional folklore, medieval setting where women are just love interests, or they're just like the beautiful side character that the main character is in love with, like pretty much every other female character in Tolkien's writing, because Tolkien was, while I appreciate his style and his stories, he was a big old sexist.
Period.
Not a lot of strong female characters in his works, but Eowyn is probably the only one. Her story is kind of similar to Mulan's, who is another strong female character who I love, where, you know, she has kind of this path set out for her to just like take care of the kids, marry a man, be a woman in the traditional sense. But instead there's this giant war going on and she's like, fuck that, I wanna fight. So she does. She dresses up as a man, disguises herself, goes to war. Turns out she is the only person there who can defeat the Witch King because of some very poorly worded prophecy.
No man can kill me.
And then she takes off her helmet and reveals who she is and she's like, bitch, I am no man.
I am no man.
Like one of the most liberating, amazing moments of cinematic history. I just remember watching that for the first time and being like, yeah!
Oh my god, yeah!
And it's exciting to watch as a young girl watching a movie that's very clearly not made for young girls. And then you see that scene that you just absolutely don't see coming unless you read the books, and then you do. But it was just such a victory and such an awesome moment because she's like, yeah, I am a woman and that is my strength. Fuck all of you. None of you could have done this. What's up?
Fuck all of y'all.
But then after that, she like finishes her mission and then marries a man and goes right back to being a traditional woman. So maybe not the best example, but that moment is all that matters. I'd also like to mention probably the most iconic female protagonist in cinematic history, which is Ellen Ripley from Alien. And the thing that I really love about this character is that she was originally supposed to be played by a man. The character was written for a man, and then Ridley Scott was like, well, okay, but how would people react if this character, this same exact character, just happened to be played by a woman? Which was very progressive for the time that this movie came out, because it was all male-led action movies. There was no female-led action movies, and if it was very, very sexualized. And so he was like, what if we just made her not sexy? And she's just a woman, and that's it. That's all it is. And I love that, because she could have been played by a man and it would have been kind of exactly the same. Nothing in her dialogue, nothing in anything she says or does tells you that she's a woman. And when he changed her from being a man to being a woman, he didn't rewrite it. He didn't change her dialogue to make her sound more like a girl, because there is no definition of what a girl sounds like versus what a guy sounds like. They're just people. And I just fucking love that so much. I also love that she's strong, but she's not strong in the traditional, like, stereotypical action hero who's just like a badass. Like, yeah, she's a badass, but she also is a human and she has flaws. Things don't always come easy for her and she struggles, and she's just very relatable, which I love about that movie. And the one thing that I think is my favorite about this character is that she is not defined by the men around her. She's not defined by her relationships with them. And that is something that I think people don't know how to do in cinema these days, because all of the time, every time, at least recently, there is a female-led movie, they have to tell you that this is a female, and they have to show her relationships with men and how the men suck and how she's the best. And it's like just this weird dynamic where the writers feel like they have to tell you that there are men and there are women, and that this woman is awesome and that these men are scum. And there's just always something in there about that, and I don't think we need it, because look at Alien. They don't do that at all, and we clearly know that she is a woman and she is a badass, and we don't need any other explanation other than that. So yeah, Ripley, just like the best written female character ever, and I love her. So yeah, that is just a small glimpse into the world of my favorite female characters, and I'm just so excited to see more of them in cinema and more women kicking ass, taking names.
Kick names, take ass.
Okay, that's all I got for you. Bye.